I know what you're thinking. Doesn't CP usually do these end of the year lists in like 10 or 15 different videos, stretching it out, minimizing the workload and all that bullshit? Well, not this year, people. You see, a little bird intervened. A little bird spoke into CP's ear and says, I think those views that you're always bitching about might be just a little bit better if you just give us the whole enchilada at one time. Don't tease us with 100 to 91 and then 91 to 85 and then 85 to 83 because you had a busy day on Tuesday. Bitch, just give us the whole actual list. So settle in, people, because this is the list. Grab yourself a nice frosty beverage. Go ahead and freeze the glass mug because that's sexy and you know it. Get yourself a giant tub of popcorn, your favorite chair. Get rid of all distractions and enjoy the best films and, unfortunately, the worst films of 2019. Oh, and for those of you that just like to, watch a few seconds of the video to hit the thumbs down because you think you're cool and you're going to be making a big difference and, taking views away from videos and everything like that. Sorry, you only get to do it once. Blame me, I guess. But, you won't be able to blame too much because I've chosen to remain chosen to remain anonymous. This is the list.
I can't talk too long. I gotta poo.
Hello. Welcome to the 2019 edition of The List. I wanted to have this shot and edited, but we're a week after the Oscars, and it's just, if I get to it properly, A, it's not going to be one video. B, you're going to see the final piece of it in like August. So because of the way things have played out, a la Bill O'Reilly, we're just going to fucking do it live. Hello, everybody. What's up, Scott? What's up, Dale? What's up, Mark? What's up? Believe in the hype. Yes, that was Cody. In case you guys didn't get the joke, that was Cody in the intro. It was a joke, the censorship. But yes, I'm sure some of you figured out that's how the joke worked. What I'm going to do for this is I have a feed from my my Letterboxd, and what you're going to see is one row at a time, which will start with 94 through 91, and then from that point after it'll be 90 to 86, so on and so forth. So you'll be able to cheat a little bit as we go on, but you'll be able to see 5 at a time, but I'm going to try to touch on everything. Some things, like when we get to the middle, some stuff is just not memorable. Like that's the big, I think that's more a crime for a movie, is to be forgettable than bad and memorable. At least it's stuck out in my head. No, Dalton, I didn't forget your name. I didn't know what I what I should be doing. Oh Christ, this should be quick. It's 94 movies. What do you oh Christing for? What's up, Ryan? Okay, so without further don't, number 94 through 91, the very, oh yeah, we're going bottom to top. So these are the worst movies of the year. And there you go. My least favorite film I saw that came out in 2019 was Logan Paul's Airplane Mode. I can't find enough negative things to say about that movie. I don't know what, listen, first of all, I don't know half the people, 3/4 of the people in that movie, but it's my understanding that social influencers, the ones that are funny, all they really do is do things loudly. That's my interpretation, because that's all this movie is. Just like really sensory overload, loud, snappy, it's just fucking obnoxious. And it's a really watered down tribute. It has to be a tribute to Airplane, because there's a bunch of references in it that can't be coincidence. A lot of the jokes, anything that resembled being something funny, I can go find you the SNL bit where it's happened first. So there's that. Apparently, Logan Paul wrote this. I'm dying to know how much of this is written and how much is borrowed. If there's any ghostwriters or what. But yeah. Following a quick 93rd is Loquisha, which could be the most tone-deaf movie I've seen in a very long time. It's about that white gentleman there who's on the radio, but he poses as a black woman named Loquisha, and he puts on an accent. It would be one thing if you could take it somewhere. There's just nothing to like about the guy. It's a one-note joke, and there's nothing redeemable about the guy, what he's doing, and the movie itself is just. These are a lot of offensive movies right here. Number 92 is Unplanned, which is a movie about abortion. However you feel about that, keep that to yourself. I don't care. I don't want to tell you how I feel about it. I don't want to hear how you feel about it. But this movie certainly wants to let it be known how they feel about it. And anytime you catch us on show business, we always say, get your story out first before the message. And oh boy, does Unplanned fail atrociously at doing message first, then movie. But it's heavy-handed. It's pretty ram-fisted down your throat that abortion's bad. And this movie won't stop until you say uncle. There's not much else to it. I felt bad for characters that I know I wasn't supposed to feel bad for. So that's usually a bad sign for a movie. Number 91 is Pet Graveyard, which is this came out the week before the Pet Sematary remake, and it was made to capitalize on people going to see Pet Sematary. Like, you go to a Redbox or some shit, and you're like, oh, I don't need to go watch that new movie in theaters. There's a Pet Graveyard movie here at home in the $2 Walmart bin. In the movie's defense, it is calling it an independent film is probably polite, but it's a movie that vaguely, the word Pet Graveyard might have got stamped on there just to get the likeness to Pet Sematary. It's not really very similar. It's a lot like Flatliners, if you want to compare it to a movie. The Pet Graveyard isn't really that meaningful, but sell those DVDs, I guess. Okay, so that's 94 through 91. We're making a good time. Here we go, 90 through 86. Oh, it's not moving right. 90, The Fanatic. Not a good movie. Not the worst thing either, which is horrifying. Do you know, I might even put this higher. It could technically be 89. I'd like to see Black Christmas again before I give the final say on that. But The Fanatic is it's a film made by Fred Durst, starring a tone deaf John Travolta. Everything that can be said about it has been said about it. There, number 90, bottom 5 for me. Although I don't know, because Black Christmas getting to 89, Black Christmas was fucking bad. Black Christmas was really bad. Going back to Unplanned, that was a movie that was message over story. And holy fuck, Black Christmas is message over story. Like this new wave feminism. I don't know. Was it third wave feminism? Not the everybody should be equal. We need to be higher than. Cool. Can you make the story better though? Like, I don't care how you feel about me. If I'm a piece of shit, that's great. Just tell me a good story in the process. And Black Christmas, oh fucking hell. I'm dying to see if it was actually rated R, because if it was, I'd like to see it and see exactly what was cut or what, because that everything about it felt rushed, it felt silly, it just felt fucking stupid. It just no. Number 88 is Little, which is just like Big. Get it? Little, big. It's a sassy boss woman who gets turned into a little kid, and then she's got to learn how life is as a kid to know to start being nice to people again. Have you heard this story before? Yeah, it's the same fucking thing you've heard 7 times before. Cool. Number 87, Miss Bala, which is an action movie that came out early in the year, and I remember being rather turned off by it. It felt so... See, the problem with stuff like action and horror is if they're paint by numbers, if they're just, no effort, it really makes the experience shitty. And Miss Bala just felt lazy, which made the time a waste. It felt like a waste. I'd rather watch I'd rather watch The Fanatic again than Miss Bala. At least there's shit to laugh at The Fanatic, for ironic reasons. And 17 again. That's another one. Yes. So number 86 in this list is Tone Deaf, which I think was released straight to VOD. Certainly could be wrong. Robert Patrick is in this as a boomer. Okay, boomer. He rents out a house to Amanda Crew, who some of you may know from movies. I can't think of what the fuck. She's in that tech show, that HBO with Thomas Middleditch. Anyway, she's young. She's a hipster, a young crowd, and he's a part of the old crowd. And man, he doesn't like kids these days, and he's a typical fucking old-timey... I'm surprised they didn't put a MAGA hat on him and have her... I think she does go to college, and she's awfully Berkeley for whatever, if you guys can understand what the hell that means. And it's meant to play like a thriller, like a horror, and it doesn't. I didn't care. I didn't fucking care. Like, it took so long to get going. We knew where you were going with this fucking thing. And and the thing about her in that movie is she's literally tone deaf. She plays piano, but she's atrocious. And they take the entire movie to pay off the stupidest fucking setup about her being fucking tone deaf. 90 minutes. Not trolling, but Cody's volume was louder. Okay, I can do that. You're wrong about tone deaf, am I? Okay. Okay, so we're up to 85 through 81. Well, don't want to cheat. Why? Just get off that. Number 85 for me is Jexy, which just saw at the end of the year. A buzzer beater. Comedy not unlike Her, where a dude falls for his phone. And bad comedy's bad, and this is bad comedy. And again, if you want something like this that is good, go watch Her. It's not exactly the same, but yeah. Going from bad comedy to bad horror, the Shudder exclusive Haunt. I don't know. If you liked, what the fuck are all those movies that came out all in a bunch last year? Fest, all the Fest movies. If you like Hellfest and didn't feel too bored and turned off by that, I give you Haunt. Feels very, very Hellfest-y. Yeah. That's what I have to say about Jexy and Haunt. Where'd you go, Bernadette? That is a good question. Where did you go, Bernadette? A movie that seemed to open decent enough, with our lead going on a journey, leaving her family, and it was a movie that, like, by about halfway through, I just stopped fucking caring. And like, it really didn't go anywhere. Like, I don't know if perhaps I was mentally checked out, and because of that, I was like, okay, I don't fucking care. Whatever you're doing, I don't care. I could have played into it, but I just stopped caring, and it really just nothing mattered at a certain point. 82 is Rob Zombie. I officially do not like Rob Zombie films. That much is clear. Rob Zombie films have a look to them. They have a style to them. Some people like that. I'm not one of them. I would like to see Rob Zombie direct something that somebody else wrote, but other than that, I think I'm officially not a fan. I was trying to give this one hope, and yeah, it's a no for me, dog. Number 81, Unicorn Store, as directed by Captain Marvel herself. This is a movie that felt like it was either written and or shot while everybody was high. It feels like everybody's high and in a dream, and there are times where people act like they're just seeing the script for the first time, and or they're in a porno. There's a lot about this movie, the presentation, and just how things are delivered in this movie that feels so bizarre. I don't know, maybe it was for the wonderment of what it is we're experiencing, but no. Okay, 80 to 76. Number 80, 5 Feet Apart, 6 teenagers, hospital, romance. Do you need anything else? It's It's all of that. Can't get enough of these movies. At least once a year. You know what I need? I need sick kids in a hospital. I need at least one of those movies a year. Yeah, unnoteworthy. Same thing, unfortunately, for Greta, which I have at 79, which that's a thriller that looked like it had such potential, and it just doesn't. It kind of meanders once like you know certain things. It takes its time, and it just feels strange because you as an audience member are like, no, I know I know what's going on. Can we catch up to where I am, because I'm ready to move a little bit faster now because I know what's happening. Really disappointing. I don't know if I'll ever see that again. I know Emily's supposed to be covering that soon, so maybe I'll have to watch it again. But yeah, Greta was 78, Dark Phoenix. Mess. That was a mess. Is Jennifer Lawrence officially done with her contract now? That's my question with X-Men. Because oh boy, was this a chore, a slog. You want to talk about unmemorable? That came out in June, and I can't give you many features about it, other than the whole third act reminded me of Snowpiercer, the whole train ride rushing to get to the front. And how dare I mention Snowpiercer in the same sentence as Dark Phoenix? Yay, Greta. Yes, see? So number 77 is Isn't It Romantic? Which, if you're in the right mood, might not be that bad a time. I'm a little harder on comedies, and Rebel Wilson just really grinds me up as far as, I don't know, there's just stuff she does that turns me off comedically. There's some humor here. I think it's either shot or directed by the director, either the cinematographer or the director from The Final Girls made this movie, and the look is decent enough. It's a bit of a one-note joke. They're making fun of romantic films and rom-coms, and she's in a universe that's rom-com, so they really maneuver around her not being able to say fuck, which is cute. 76. Charlie's Angels. I could just change numbers on this, and instead of having certain numbers, I could just write I don't give a fuck. And that's what Charlie's Angels is. I don't give a fuck. Kristen Stewart is not the actress for a movie like this. Stale action. This is a series, films, television show that kind of hinges on the sexuality of the females, and this movie tries to work around that and not really focus on that. And at that point, why are you making Charlie's Angels? Kristen Stewart isn't right for this role. If you want, the kind of shucksy head and her shoulders person, that's Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart is not, charismatic like Cameron Diaz is. It just woof. Oh fuck! It's I saw it recently. Completely unmemorable. Just bad. Number 75 is American Exit, which the one thing I'll give credit to is Dane Cook as a dramatic actor playing a bit of a deadbeat dad. I feel like he should get more dramatic roles, especially after Mr. Brooks. Unfortunately, the movie isn't that good, so probably. I mean, have you heard of that movie? So it looks like, hopefully, maybe somebody will see it and give him another chance. But it looks like he put his eggs in the wrong basket. But Dane Cook is really good in this movie, but the movie is kind of shit. Number 74 is the Lego Movie 2. I don't know if that's that low because the first one is so great, but this had none of the spark that the first one did. And if I'm watching an animated movie in my apartment by myself, you're gonna have to keep me entertained. Yeah, but yeah, no, I didn't have a good time with my children's movie while my wife slept, and yeah, the first one's way better. They got a little too silly with interweaving real life and got a little deep and weird and time travel and whoa, just whoa. Number 73 is Iron Sky: The Coming Race. Not to be taken seriously. That should be said right off the bat. Iron Sky is about a bunch of moon Nazis. And you heard me right. This is a sequel to that movie where Nazis were on the moon and now they need to fly to Earth because their power is in the Earth's core, where there's a whole nother world down there, and there's an ancient Hitler man riding around on a dinosaur, and it's fucking bonkers. It's bonkers. I'll say this much. I wasn't bored. I might have been going what the fuck through the goddamn thing, but I wasn't, Dark Phoenixing it, where it's just I just mentally checked out for half an hour a time. Weird movie. You'll know within 10 minutes. Either you're in or you're not. That's a movie that it's that simple for Iron Sky: The Coming Race. Yesterday, number 72. Really good premise. Execution's a little flimsy. There were moments that they kind of skated towards stuff that you would like to see them cover. The premise of the movie is he falls asleep and the Beatles never existed, but he knows the Beatles music. Like he memorized, like he knows the Beatles music the way any of you would, but he's a musician. So turns out to be a bit of a fraud and starts playing their music for the dumbfounded world and becomes a success. Some cute things happen along the way, but there's a couple places I wish they went and didn't, and there's a couple things I really wish they did and almost did, but kind of avoided some stuff. Really good premise. I just wish the execution was better. 71 is Rim of the World, which is a Netflix movie that I saw forever ago when it came out. It takes place, I think, today in modern times. I remember thinking it was awfully Goonies-ish. A bunch of teenage kids with some foul mouths. Insert Stranger Things joke here. But, yeah, I don't remember much about that movie. It was okay. Might be a better time if you have kids and you want to show them something like, I'm not saying it's like Stand By Me or Goonies or anything like that, but, if they've seen all that shit already and you want to give them a next step, you could do worse. Next, number 70 is Men in Black International. Men and Women in Black International. Chris Hemsworth's funny. He needs more funny roles. Other than that, kind of shoulder shruggy. We're gonna have about 20 movies now where I'm just like, it happened. Same thing goes for Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Man, I really wanted to like Jay and Silent Bob reboot. It happened. He's been a little touchy feely. I need Kevin Smith, the guy who made Red State, to come back and just remember wherever his mind space was at that point and make another movie. Because all this shit after that is really kind of been fair to below average. Number 68, The Lighthouse. Not my cup of tea. Shot well. It's pretty. I don't understand the language they're speaking. You put subtitles on, you still won't understand the language they're speaking. Hard to follow. I'm not sharp enough. Fuck that movie. Number 67 is Bloodline, which is basically Dexter. If you know what the TV series Dexter is, that's with this. And Michael C. Hall has a shit ton of charisma. What's your name? Sean William Scott doesn't. There's your difference. If you ever wondered, I wonder what Dexter would be like if the lead character was kind of a mouth breather, I give you Bloodline. Number 66 is Escape Room. This is we're getting close to what I would call 2.5, 3 stars. If I'm being honest, from about here out, we're shoulder shrug, middle, to middle, and Escape Room I thought was tolerable, quite impressive for a PG-13 movie. Haven't seen it since whenever it came out, January. Shit, it's been a full year already. But I don't have complaints. I just like some of these. I just like other stuff more, and turns out I like 65 other movies more than I like Escape Room. Number 65, Happy Death Day to You. I think I took points away from it because it was such a departure, but it was an okay time. If you're expecting Happy Death Day, if you're going off the trailer for Happy Death Day, you're going to be confused. This is way more comedy, way more sci-fi humor, time travel stuff. Fun. Not what I was expecting, and I guess I'm penalizing it for such. Number 64 is Crawl, which fucking pretty gory, all things considered. I just felt like it was a bit of a one-note pony. Hi, thank you.
You want some pasta?
No, thank you. Crawl, it a lot happens in a small space. I mean, it's a girl surrounded by crocodiles. Alligators, fuck it. Those things. And yeah, it plays on her being trapped. I felt like you could have gone a bit further and just go around town, but it's good. It's good, and a nice isolated story. Some of these I really want to watch again because, like, in the middle is where I put them. Where if I was ranking, I was just like, all right, put it in the middle, and then the bottom and top just kind of got bigger and bigger, and then we have all these movies here, right, where I meant to watch them again, and Crawl is definitely one of those. The Dirt is not, though. The Dirt, I really didn't have a good time with that. There are a bunch of movies, biopics, lately, especially, and The Dirt, I really feel like fucked it up. Great, you got Ozzy snorting ants. You got your R rating, but I don't know, somewhere between Bohemian Rhapsody and The Dirt, you have your perfect biopic, and it's a miss for me. I really like Motley Crue, and the movie just didn't do it for me. 62, Captain Marvel. Shoulder Shrug, the movie. That is all I got for you. It happened. I have comic book fatigue. It wasn't as bad as every mouth breather on the internet wants you to think. It just happened. It's not worth the hype. Same thing like 2016's Ghostbusters. 2016's Ghostbusters should have just went away and not succeeded. Captain Marvel, more of the same. Just, it happened. 61, the Pet Sematary remake. I think I'm going to have to rethink that. That should be lower than that. That was a really big disappointment. A really big disappointment. I don't know if I meant to put that in the middle, but I really didn't have a good time with that movie. The twist in the middle, could have done without that. Oh, I think maybe I was waiting to see if there was a director's cut. You're getting my raw letterbox list here. Anywho, on to 60. At the Drive-In, which is a documentary, which I think I watched on Amazon, maybe Hulu. It's on one of the streaming services, and it's about one of the last drive-ins in America. I think it's in Pennsylvania, and it's just a documentary keeping up with these people that are working for free for the love of movies just to keep this little fucking rinky-dink drive-in open. And I found it completely wholesome and endearing. 59 is Long Shot, which I've seen again since then. I might bump it up a little bit more. Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron in a comedy. You kind of get what you expect here. The Inventor, which is another documentary on HBO, I think is where that was, about this woman who invented this application, this drug to take, and you take it and it gives you all your vital information or something like that. And it turns out that she was a bit of a crook. Spoiler. Those type of documentaries fascinate me, and it's yeah, especially if I don't know anything about like the person or any of that stuff. Like I don't know if the person's dead or in jail or whatever the fuck happened. I enjoy it more because it's like watching a regular movie. And that I didn't know anything about this person. So yeah. Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. That was the adaptation, the Ted Bundy movie. Could have been better. I felt like the tone was a little off. Who were we supposed to like in that movie? That's my question, because Ted Bundy was presented in a really awkward fashion. That's the one. Zac Efron. That's the one note that I had leaving that was the protagonist really Zac Efron / Ted Bundy? Is that really? Oh, okay. Number 56 is Angel Has Fallen. The Has Fallen series is a couple of movies deep now. And I called this one like out the gate, which which isn't the strongest thing. Oh, I called Angel Has Fallen. I called the twist to that fucking Angel Has Fallen movie right out the gate. But it didn't really ruin the experience. See, Angel Has Fallen, if you're gonna be stale, at least be Michael Bay about it, and they fucking blow shit up. I'd rather Angel Has Fallen stale than Miss Bala stale. Miss Bala stale is just like, I feel like Miss Bala was just like, hey, here's a Hispanic woman in an action movie. Huh? And it just doesn't work like that. This is still a business after all. You gotta sell a product. And Angel Has Fallen, if you ask me 9 times out of 10, I'd say I'd much rather see Miss Bala 9 times out of 10, but fucking 10 times out of 10, I'd walk out of it thinking, shit, I should have watched Angel Has Fallen. The series has no appeal on me, but I don't know. No more talking about Mrs. Bala. Here we go, 55. Man, I'm not even halfway done. This is why I wanted to do this all at once. Number 55 is Gemini Man, also known as Gemini Man. Okay. It was okay. The CGI got a little distracting at times. Another one that's kind of easy to figure out at a certain point. Again, it doesn't really ruin the experience, but it was okay. Again, at least the next 10 to 15 movies, they're just passable. Like 2.5, 3 stars, maybe even 3.5. No, maybe not yet. 54 is The Upside, which is a remake of The Untouchables, right? Okay, I'm pretty sure your grandparents will love it on a flight somewhere. if you're stuck somewhere and you want a feel-good story, might I present The Upside? Number 53 is Cold Pursuit, which that was last year's. Hey, wait a minute. We didn't get a Liam Neeson January movie this year. What gives? Well, anyway, Cold Pursuit was last year's Liam Neeson movie that came out during the cold months. Tried to be a little dark with the humor, and I didn't match the tone right. It wasn't the humor that they try to pull off in that movie wasn't earned. At least I feel. I've been on a fucking South Korean binge lately, and let me tell you, somebody who knows how to squeeze humor into some dark ass fucking movies is those South Koreans. Holy fuck. Cold Pursuit. You go and watch Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and then Cold Pursuit and tell me which one should be doing comedy. I should have just made this a stream about all the South Korean stuff I'm watching. 52 is Stuber. Dave Bautista. Don't sleep on him. He should be getting a lot more work that The Rock is getting. And if I'm being honest, I'm getting a little saturated, a little tired of The Rock. But Stuber, it was okay. Wash, rinse, repeat comedy. So, yeah, I'm harder on comedies than your average layperson. Like, somebody might think that, what is your name? Isn't It Romantic? Yeah. Somebody might think Isn't It Romantic is a really good time. And I can I could see that happening. We just have different tastes anyway, so what the fuck am I explaining myself for? I do this every year. Number 51 is Zombieland Double Tap. A sequel to Zombieland 10 years later. What do you expect? That's the movie you get. There's not much else to report. It's whatever you're thinking of if you haven't seen it. Oh, Zombieland 10 years later. That's the movie that you get. It's not bad, it's not good. It just happens. It's no Zombieland, that's for fucking certain. Okay, so what are we up to? 50. I got to be careful and not cheat. 50 is Brightburn. Another movie, really good premise. Really, really, really good premise. And they missed the mark. I'm not farting, that's my heel. They really missed the mark with certain elements of this movie that listen, they go for it in shots where it's an R-rated movie about a little kid Superman who fucks people up. I mean, as far as gore is concerned, if you're a gore hound, watch this movie because it's really interesting to see a superhero movie in that light. I'll say that much. But yeah, there's parts that I just a little frustrated with. We might get more from that series, I think, right? Isn't there a chance that's getting a sequel? Anyhow, 49 is The Art of Self-Defense. Ooh, how do I describe you? Dry. Very, very dry. Not unlike Napoleon Dynamite, but drier than something like, oh boy, Bullshit Artist. What is the name of that movie that I can't think of right now? Shit, what's the name of that movie with The Greasy Strangler? Don't think of Greasy Strangler. It's a dry comedy. Jesse Eisenberg signs up for a karate class to help defend himself. Things happen. Dry. It's dry. Dry. Number 48 is It Chapter 2. That's on one viewing. I'd like to see it again. It might go down, it might go up, but I wasn't too enamored. When we get to about 35 is where I start like actually paying attention, because there's like this placeholder that I have in the middle that has like 30 movies where I was just like, just leave it there until I watch it again. And a bunch of these I just didn't watch again. But It Chapter 2 I meant to watch again. It didn't blow my skirt up one way or another. Bombshell, number 47. Same thing. Performances were fantastic. The story's been told. Not this story, but it 2019. I'm sorry, women. I got fucking tired about hearing about women. That's what I could say about 2019. The year of, hey, remember women exist. And in another year, I might feel different, because I saw Bombshell after I saw Black Christmas. And it's not fair to Bombshell, but you know, I was just so, all right, enough. It's not my fault this shit's happening. Please stop making me feel bad. Although, I don't work at Fox. Okay. 46, Hustlers. I'll come right out and say, I don't know who the fuck thought Jennifer Lopez should have been nominated for an Oscar there. She's a pretty girl. She's well put together. Yes. So's the woman that was in Showgirls. What's your point? I don't think her performance was that good. The movie is okay. I've seen better movies that are in that world. Shit, Magic Mike. I think is a far better movie than Hustlers. Far better. And I wouldn't even think about talking about awards for that movie. Listen, I'm a straight man. I enjoyed what I saw, but I'm not going to give you an award for having a nice ass. What do we want me to say? Okay, so, we're up to 45 now. 45 is Bikram, Yogi Guru Predator. That's another documentary. I think that one was on Netflix. Most of these documentaries I saw on some sort of streaming service. Another documentary where I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into. I didn't know anything about the real person. I didn't know how it ended. And the journey they take you on. Again, I saw this another movie about a male sexual predator that preyed on women. Saw this earlier in the year, and as the movie moves along and you hear these stories by people, you really feel terrible for them. And there's this one female that's giving her story, and the way they lay it out, they do it really neat, because the way she's telling the story, it kind of matches the fashion in which they're going linear as far as time is concerned. So, she hasn't told anybody yet, and I don't know if she was acting or what, but you got this sense where it was just like, oh my God, why are you just tell somebody? He's not your friend. But if you're not too tired about about these types of stories and men being total fuckheads, this one was really unique. I enjoyed it. Is that politically correct to say that? I enjoyed that Predator movie. Number 44. This would be higher. I've seen this again since. This is an asterisk. So Pet Sematary is an asterisk down. Detective Pikachu is an asterisk up. I've never had so much fun on a movie that I had no business wanting to see and enjoyed thoroughly. Watched it again, enjoyed it again. I don't know. Maybe I just like Ryan Reynolds, but him with that little. I'm Pikachu, Pokemon, all that shit is after my time. I never got into that stuff, and I was a little too old by the time it was really kicking off. So I never got into it. I just know some of the characters, and I learned some, and some of them are just precious, just absolutely precious. And the movie won me. It won me. Him drinking little tiny shots of coffee, just. The CGI was great. There's parts where I was in awe, and it's been a really long time since I just was taken by surprise by a movie, and I really had a fun time with the Detective Pikachu. Yeah. So 43 is Godzilla King of Monsters, right? Is that the official title? Giant monster movie with just absolute fucking chaos. That's what you're getting. If you're okay with that, not much to see here. I will say, I haven't. I watched Shin Godzilla, which is the Japanese 2016 version. I like that far more than this, and I like Shin Godzilla far more than 2014. I like 2014 Godzilla a lot. This less so. And we're about to go on a journey sometime soon through all the old Godzillas. Not the biggest monster movie fan, but I could appreciate what they're good for. And, modern day CGI, just watching shit get blown up it's an okay time. 42, Spider-Man Far From Home. I I might be harder on comic book movies, but I'm just tired of them. I'm really that we had a really fantastic comic book movie last year, and I'll talk about it soon. At this point, unless you're going to be doing something completely different, I'm kind of over it. And Spider-Man, it happened. You know, it's 42nd. It's what, halfway through my list. I'm not hating on it, but somebody else in my shoes would probably put it higher. I don't know what else to tell you. 41, this could be the row of movies that really caught me by surprise, because Aladdin really caught me by surprise. I didn't want to like it. I had really no urge to see it other than to keep up with modern news for show business, and expected a train wreck, wanted to talk about a train wreck, and it wasn't. It was okay. It was an all right time. Will Smith makes that character his own, and respects Robin Williams and what it is he did with that character, and he does something different. There's 2 or 3 songs or moments where you just kind of cringe. Again, 2019, Year of the Female. There's a song there where I just like wanted to shoot popcorn butter in my ears, but kind of expect that at this stage. Yeah. 41, Aladdin, surprising. Here we go. Top 40. Number 40. Am I sucking my fucking roof? I'm sorry. Number 40 is Brexit, which is an HBO movie. Again, don't know much about the topic. Had an all right time going on the ride. And man, would I love to experience Brexit from the inside. Idiots. But yeah, there was a good movie. Benedict Cumberbatch, he doesn't play. And not much else to report. Number 39 is Midsommar. Saw that twice. That is a accurate grade for after my second viewing. This sometimes I align with the snooty horror. Sometimes, like there are a bunch of movies every so often. It seems like every year there's 1 or 2 or 3 movies in the horror genre where people feel really snooty about it, and yeah, some people love it, some people hate it, and there's no real middle ground. Either you love it or hate it. And Midsommar, I think, was that this year. I don't like it as much as I loved the one from last year. Hereditary. I loved Hereditary. Midsommar, I could do without. Just a miss, but had a decent enough time to put it in my top third, close to my top half. Yeah, whatever. 38 is Wild Rose. Better than Hereditary? No. Hereditary was top 10 for me last year. 38 is Wild Rose, about a country singer who lives in the UK, Scotland. What part of the country was she in? Well, anyway, she's like a country western singer in the UK, Scotland, Ireland, one of those areas there. And again, the piece of rock that I'm not allowed to touch. Interesting movie. I felt like if you take the environment, if you take the everything about the movie and put it in its natural environment, it's just passable to me. I think the unique factor about that movie was the fact that it was not in America, not like a country western movie. It was really kind of puzzling. But yeah, you really feel bad for not the character, but the people around her. It's a movie that again, it might be a saturated market for a movie like that. I would compare it to something like The Rose. Some people would probably say that fucking Bradley Cooper movie, A Star Is Born, but having only been a year after A Star Is Born, that may fall under the radar, and that's kind of a shame. It's a decent movie. The things that happen, as far as the characters are concerned, are really, really interesting. Number 37 is Checkered Ninja. I still get some Danish in me. Checkered Ninja is a Danish cartoon animated film that I think it came out when I was in Denmark, and I don't think I had heard of it, or it was about to come out, or whatever. Nothing about the animations will knock your socks off. It's pretty simple, but the Danish, they can fuck around. I don't know if this is intended for kids, but it's a little doll ninja that runs around with a knife, and it's fucking funny. I don't think that movie would ever get past in America, but holy shit, Checkered Ninja. I don't know if it were a non-animated movie and adults, maybe I wouldn't think so much of it, but because it's an animated movie and seemingly for children, I just couldn't get enough of it. It was fucking hysterical. Number 36, another documentary, horror noir, which I think that's on Shudder. Yeah, because they're advertising it on Shudder as sign up free and watch horror noir. It's a documentary about black people and their representation in horror films. And boy, if there is any reason to watch it, the education alone is worth watching that movie. They go through the whole history of African Americans and how they've been portrayed in horror, from good to bad to the whole nine, and how Jordan Peele has that they interview a bunch of stars and directors and authors, journalists. Jordan Peele, his piece or pieces was quite interesting, especially knowing that he is behind Candyman. Candyman has a prominent discussion in this film, and it's for the education alone. If you're into horror noir, go borrow Shudder for a week free and watch that, because it's really fucking educational at the very least. What are we up to? We're up to 35. We're up to 35. 35 is Ma. This one caught me by surprise. And that might be the last of the movies that, from here out, I think I'm 3.5 stars or better. Ma, I think, is like 3 stars. I don't know. I can't check. Never mind. Fuck it. But a movie that I didn't expect. See, expectations usually weigh a lot into movies for me. If I expect a grandiose hell of a ride and it's not that, it really kind of fucks with the way I score things. I didn't expect anything. And here it is, 35, ahead of movies like Midsommar. I don't know what else to say. It's nothing noteworthy. If I never watch it again, that sounds about right. But what's funny is there was a bunch of movies before that I said I saw this coming, I saw that coming. There's something here that after it happened in Ma, I was like, oh, how did I not see something like that coming? And Yeah, I just went along for the ride. I was see that's another thing about movies. If I'm not trying to figure out what the deal is and trying to guess who the killer is and all this other shit, it means I'm having a good time. And I just had a good time with Ma. Again, we're at 35, so let's all just calm down before you spit down my neck. 21 Bridges, another one. That was one of the most recent ones that I watched. Okay, okay, cop drama with Chadwick Boseman, right? I think Chadwick Boseman was in it. Black Panther, a really good crime procedural. Is that what you call those movies? A botched robbery, and things to be figured out, and they close the city, which apparently there's 21 bridges leading into Manhattan. By the way, that would never happen. They're never going to close the entire island of Manhattan for 3 fucking bank robbers or 2. Forgot what the fuck it was. Another one, like just stuff, thrillers and action movies. If you do it okay enough, I'm okay just going for the ride, and I was okay with that. I'm harsh on comedy, horror. Oh, I guess I am maybe a little bit. Yeah, fuck it, never mind. Which brings me to 33. Leaving Neverland, which is another documentary. Technically, it's 2 pieces. It's about it's about a couple of people who have accused Michael Jackson of wrongdoing. And regardless of how you feel, regardless of what you think after the documentary, and this can be said for anything, Bikram, Brexit, although Brexit, that's not a straight documentary. All these documentaries that I've listed, I'm not talking about the events. I'm just talking about the style of movie, the film itself, not the content. It was laid out rather well, and quite. It was done well. I'm not going to tiptoe around this. It left me looking for more answers, which I guess sometimes that could be a negative. But if a movie gets you interested in a subject and looking further into it, I think, especially when it comes to a documentary, I think it's done its job. And I was really the Michael Jackson story, especially that part, is something I really don't put much thought to. I don't like thinking about that. But after seeing that movie, I did want to look into a couple of things. So there's that. It stuck with me. I haven't thought about it since, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Blah. 32, Shazam. See a superhero movie done differently. And holy fuck. Shazam was cute. It was fun. Fucking 13-year-old kid who becomes a superhero anytime he says Shazam. And they play it straight with how a 13-year-old would act, getting superpowers, let alone superpowers, being an adult too. So it was a really fun ride, and I wouldn't mind more of that. When you take the comic book genre and do different things with it, that's when I get excited. Shazam, Deadpool, other stuff like that. And I guess technically we'll lead right into 31, which is Glass. That's another different take on the comic book genre. The film isn't as strong as the performances. James McAvoy, holy fuck, that guy just ate everybody's lunch. He did a fantastic job in Glass and Split. I really loved this movie until, I'm not even going to say the third act, until like the last 10 minutes. it took such a weird turn. And I've seen it again since, and I have so many questions that just makes everything that leads up into that, it just falls apart. And it's such a bummer because I really, really liked 90% of that movie a lot. The last 10% make it really, really hard. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Okay, top 30. Some of you are going to be. I really wish I could show them one at a time at this point, but alas. Number 30 is Terminator Dark Fate, which I'm still waiting to see again. See, this is like a 3.5, I think, for me. So from here out, they're at least a 3-star movie or better. So that's how I feel. And some of these movies are graded stronger. This is just my preference, but we'll leave that for another discussion. Terminator Dark Fate it's the best Terminator movie of the 21st century. That's easy to say. I don't know what that says, but I don't quite want to bend over and blow it the way Cody and Brian do, but I wouldn't mind seeing them go further from this storyline, although I don't know if we're going to get that because it didn't do too well in America. But yeah, I had a good time. John Wick Chapter 3, another movie that I had a really good time with, and at the very end I was just, why'd you do that? John Wick, these John Wick movies, they're fantastic. The choreography, the way it's shot, the cinematography, everything's really gorgeous. But let's call a spade a spade. These movies are kind of repetitive, and that's coming from a Friday the 13th guy who I like my horror rinse and repeat. But John Wick is getting kind of rinse and repeaty, which isn't a bad thing yet. But when there's action scenes and you're kind of figuring out when to time your pee, something's wrong. Again, this is 29 out of 94, so it's in my top third. But there's moments in this movie where I felt like, okay, maybe one more of these and that's it. It seems like it's getting a little time for something fresh. Had a good time. Number 28, Child's Play. Haters be damned. It's different. It's a modernized Child's Play that got rid of the voodoo shit, and there's subtext. There's subtext for the way we depend on social media and electronics and all that shit, and how parenting, parents are just, they should be doing more parenting and not leaving iPads and TVs and killer Chucky dolls to do the parenting for them. There's lots of stuff in this movie that doesn't get credit, but it's quite all right. Is it Brad Dourif? No. Does it have to be? No. You're getting Brad Dourif on TV now anyway, so that's fine. Let the Brad Dourif people get their Child's Play, which I plan on watching and having fun with, but I want to see more of this. I'd like to see what we can get out of a Mark Hamill, a fucked up chopping mall, if you will, version of Child's Play. I'm all for it. I really hope something else comes of this 2019 movie because it deserves it. the look of the doll was suspect, but I had a really good time with the movie. I don't even know if I have that. I meant to pick that up a while back, and I meant to rewatch it, and I've done none of that. Number 27, I Trapped the Devil. This is a independent film that does a fantastic job of getting you to question the main character, and you're not sure if what he's talking about is in his head or if it's really happening. I would tell you to go watch the trailer. That movie is under the radar enough where you could actually probably go see it and be surprised. But that's a really, really good time. And I don't know many people who, A, have seen it, B, are talking about it, but that's a movie that got better and better and better as the movie got on, and I really enjoyed the payoff. Number 26, Good Boys. R-rated movie about kids running around being kids. Holy shit, there's like 4 or 5 scenes in that movie where they're fucking around with sex dolls, and they explain it. It's not like they're using them for a specific reason. They're just idiot kids, and it's presented so wholesomely, but it's when you know what you're looking at, it's pretty fucking funny. We saw it. I think it was on TV. I want to say it was on TV recently, and we turned it on and just kept watching it because it's just a chuckle house. Really had a good time, and there are moments where it goes full rated R, and I remember saying something to Emily, saying, "Man, they could have gone in a different direction with this scene and even gone further, but there's stuff where they find the line and take a step right over it." It is an R-rated comedy that does stuff that, I don't know, modern Americans will blush. A kid version of Superbad. That's one way to put it. It's a little bit more hardcore. It's a little bit more heavy on the R rating, and the kids are a little bit stupider and a little bit younger. Okay, top 25. I gotta be careful. Number 25 is Us. I've watched it again since the first viewing, and I actually appreciated it more the second time. Jordan Peele, I'm really curious to see what else he's got for us, what else he's got to say. The movie's flawed, but the ambition is quite sound, and the way the movie is made is quite good. I think this is about a 3.5 for me. And the next movie, no, that can't be right. Okay, so I might have this mixed because I'm looking at one movie that's definitely not a 4-star. I might have this mixed. But Us, on a second viewing, knowing what the faults that are in it, I was able to enjoy it more. And I could probably see myself watching that on a Saturday afternoon. Number 24 is Dragged Across Concrete. What is your name? Craig Zoller, the guy who did Bone Tomahawk and that Vince Vaughn movie. It's more of that. I'd like to rank this higher, but pacing issues. The movie takes its time. It's a movie that, for me, for my personal taste, I could take about 20 minutes out of the middle and lose it and really have a much better time. That's just me. I think it's fine the way it is. I would like it tighter. That's just if I had my way. The dialogue between Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn is extremely. You buy it. There's the way they present the relationship is, you know that these guys. It's very believable, I guess is the best way to put it. And of course, like every other Zoller movie, shit goes south, and it's a good old fashioned. Oh yeah, speaking of 2019 and PC culture, this movie is very not 2019. There's a lot of things that are said and done in Dragged Across Concrete that'll make most people blush, but with a breath of fresh air. Number 23 is El Camino. You must have seen Breaking Bad for this movie to have any value. And that's a little unfair. But I don't like grading things like that because it feels like it's incomplete. But El Camino, holy shit. Breaking Bad was incredible. El Camino it just felt like the epilogue, and it was fucking great. If you know Breaking Bad, and I tell people that Breaking Bad is the one rare television series where it just gets better and better and better as it goes on. Like the 5th season is the best season. The last episodes are the best episodes. I don't think El Camino is better than the series finale, but it fits right in there. Like, it's almost something that, on a binge, you could maybe even throw it on before the series finale. I gotta get the timing figured out, but I think it's something that you could probably get away with maybe even watching it afterwards. But it fits. It fits as an epilogue. And it's fucking great. Number 22 is Toy Story 4. They did a fantastic job storytelling with this movie and where they're going with the toys. But I think we've run out of places to take the toys, guys. I think it's time. I think it's time to put them in the boxes. You got lucky here. Excuse me. You got lucky here and made a really, really good movie that focuses on not having families and castaways and stuff like Castaways, Tom Hanks, man, get it? There's elements that they touch on in this movie that are quite strong over kids' heads. I know that for certain. It was fun. I don't think it was Toy Story 3 fun, but it definitely stuck with me. There's things in it that I'll definitely remember. Those fucking creepy ventriloquist dolls, they stuck with me. Okay, so 21. It's Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. If you've been following my lists, you'll know that with the exception of Solo, every Disney Star Wars movie has been in my top 10. And that's perhaps out of some sort of fanboyism. So you could see Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker at 21 as too high. But some of you know that it's pretty low for what I wanted from that movie. And oh, guys, as a movie, it's broken. It's sloppy. As the third act of a trilogy, I don't know where I'd put it. If I'm ranking the whole trilogy, we'd be a little bit lower. This movie's such a weird way to end that franchise that just feels so fucking broken. I mean, I like the movie. I really like the movie. It just doesn't add up. There are parts in it that, there's bantering back and forth between Ray, Finn, and Poe, and I couldn't help but think, where the fuck? Why are we doing this now? Where was this all trilogy? Why are we getting the fun stuff that felt like Han, Luke, and Leia? Like that, it felt like that at times, but it was like too little, too late. And then at times it just felt weird and broken. But I don't know. I've seen it multiple times too. I've fallen asleep on it a bunch. So there's that. It breaks my heart to say this, Star Wars, but you're not in my top 20 this year. So number 20 is Uncut Gems. Quite a good movie. I don't know if Adam Sandler for Oscars is something I'd go running around trying to get people fired up about, but it was a good movie. I actually prefer Good Time more than Uncut Gems, but I've seen Uncut Gems again since seeing it the first time, and it did get better. It moves a certain speed faster. When you expect certain things, it's a little bit easier to go down. But it's a good movie. It's ignored by certain people, but I feel like it's getting enough praise by others. So yeah, it's 20 for me. 20 out of 94. 19 is Ready or Not, and was this one a surprise and a half? We got Game Night a couple of years back, which is PG-13. There's something else that came out this year that was kind of Clue-ish. Ready or Not is fucking, it's a fun time. It seems like we're starting to get a little overload of these kind of movies. The house ensemble in a house movie. But Ready or Not was fucking awesome. If you want like a thriller version of something like Clue, I give you Ready or Not. Okay, so if you're still watching, number 18 for me is Joker. And goodbye, guys. It was nice talking to you. The performance that Joaquin Phoenix gives in Joker is phenomenal. Oscar deserved. The movie itself doesn't feel that great. Again, top 20. It's number 18 on my list. It's higher than Star Wars. Before you, I'll show you how much fandom I have. But the story is not like it's one that I really don't want to go back to. The mental health stuff is not an admirable story to be touching on. And having seen it again, the things that I scratch my head about more on a repeat viewing. And there's just parts that don't add up. And if you say, "Oh, that's the way it's supposed to be," then cool. It just doesn't do it for me in that way. I'll watch Taxi Driver. I'll watch King of Comedy, which basically those are this movie. King of Comedy does what this movie does better. I'm sorry. As far as the well, I won't talk about spoilers, but there's just parts of this movie that I kind of shake my finger and have trouble with. Number 17 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Again, much like Star Wars was pretty low, this could be my lowest Tarantino ranking since I've been doing these. I guess this has only been one Tarantino movie since I've had this channel. So yes, it is the lowest ranked one so far at 17. Another movie that I just kind of am puzzled and scratching my head about. It's good. It's really good. Again, top 20, really good. Elements to it that I don't know are necessary. Margot Robbie, for the great actress that she is, the fantastic looking feet that she has. The way this movie plays out, she's not necessary to the story. As far as like storytelling is concerned, I don't have a need for her character in this movie, and it just makes me wish we had more time with Brad Pitt. I really wish they gave us more of Brad Pitt on the boat. I understand that was meant to be a quick cut and not meant to give you too much, but cut out Margot Robbie's parts and give me more Brad Pitt, please. Again, I enjoyed it. I expect more from Tarantino, I guess is the best way to put it. This is a movie that I expected to climb every time I've watched a Tarantino movie. Like Hateful Eight, I was kind of shoulder shruggy the first time, and then when I watched it again, it improved for me. A lot of it has to do with runtime. It was a long movie, and when I expected certain things, it was easier to swallow. See, pacing. You'll hear me talk about pacing, and that's just me and my ADD and boredom. That's code for CP got bored when I say pacing. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just didn't jump out a second time. I mean, and I'll give it another chance. Jace and I are doing a stream on his work relatively soon, so I'll watch it at least once more before then. But it's good. I expect better of you, Mr. Tarantino. I feel like he hit his peak with Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained. Like that was his best back-to-back moment of his career. But yeah, so number 16 is Fighting with My Family, another movie that completely caught me by surprise. I didn't expect to like this movie that much. This movie is PG-13 and never really feels like it's forced or trimmed, which is really hard with a lot of PG-13s that I noticed, especially if they're trying for laughs. The stuff that they try to get jokes out of doesn't feel clipped, and it still feels pretty edgy for a PG-13. On top of all that, the story is just it's rocky. It's rocky with subverted expectations in certain lights. It's really neat. I mean, if you can get past the fact that wrestling's staged, scripted, whatever, and get past that, you know, they're still athletes. They're still entertainers in the end, and she has a lot to overcome, and it's the Rocky story with certain elements subverted. She's actually the dick for a little bit, and she takes a while to learn that oh, I'm the asshole, and you know, goes through that time learning that, you know, you're a great wrestler, but you know, here in the WWE we're performers, and you need to figure out how how to be a performer and how to play ball. And it shocked me how much I enjoyed that movie. Watched it again, enjoyed it just as much the second time. That might be like one of, if not the movie that surprised the hell out of me for 2019. Oh, here we go. Top 15. Is Booksmart. Yeah, it's the girl version of Superbad. A little bit more no, not wholesome. The story is a little bit wholer than Superbad. Superbad, I think, is a straight comedy. Booksmart does a couple of things that straight male talking about this. One of the characters is gay and is struggling with that at a point. And the thing that troubles me about this movie, again, the straight male, I love everything about this movie. Again, number 15 out of 94. I just wish that the love interest in this movie wasn't presented, as a female, presented in the typical male gaze that every film, when there's an object of affection, it's always, a woman from a certain perspective via the male gaze, and that's kind of what they do here with the love interest, and I wish they kind of did that a little differently. Or I'd like to see a movie like this where we get the female gaze. I don't know what it is women look to first in a man, boy. The movie Blockers, which is like an R-rated American Pie type movie, knocked down a wall or two with being this R-rated comedy where they're joking about dicks and getting fucked, and it's a bunch of girls joking about getting dick, as opposed to American Pie where they're just trying to get some warm apple pie. Booksmart's a great movie. I just wish there was a different way they handled the love attraction. Gaze. I'm gazing upon you, not gay. Well, technically there are gays in the movie, but number 14 is Ford v Ferrari. Fucking fantastic. Really, really great movie. Again, another movie that I didn't know much of the story, and when certain things happened, I really felt bummed, and that's just a testament to how much I was into this movie. But the whole third act is just this tense race sequence, and again, I don't know how the experience would be for somebody who knows how this plays out, but I was along for the ride, and was just kind of rooting for people. And third act, I can't ruin it. I'm not that into car racing, but I was completely captivated and drawn into Ford v Ferrari. Number 13 is Dr. Sleep. I think the extended edition is out on home media, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to get my hands on that and really see like stuff that they cut out or is missing. But I felt like the movie was great without needing to lean on so many of the elements from The Shining. And that's weird coming from me, somebody who really loves The Shining, the film, and I felt kind of weird going into this thinking, ah, shit, they're going to focus on the book, but they didn't. They kind of Alien Covenant it, and they did a little bit for everybody. So when they did do stuff, I mean, visuals from the original movie, it was quite awesome. But the villain in Doctor Sleep was fucking fantastic. The things that they do to the kid from Room shocked the hell out of me. It's strange. I kind of wish more people saw it, and at the same time, I kind of wish I didn't know that it was connected to Shining, because I'm wondering how I would have felt about this movie without leaning on the Overlook so much and those elements. There's stuff in the movie that are just fantastic. The stuff that is like a tribute to Shining is fucking 5 stars. There's no way around that. But the villain and everything else around the other story, Rose the Hat and Danny and his other Shining person. I don't know what they call that. Shining, right? Shining. Fuck it. It was quite good. I'm really excited to watch it again, and I'm curious to see if whatever it is that's on that extended cut, will it lean more towards stuff that I don't know, aka the book, or will it be a bit more Shining centric, or will it just be stuff that should have been cut out? I guess we'll find out. I think it's out on home media now. Number 12, Alita Battle Angel. So for as much as I should probably make a list. 5 movies that surprised me in a good way and 5 movies that surprised me in a bad way. Alita is a movie that surprised me in a good way. Had no interest in seeing it. Didn't end up seeing it until like September or some shit. And really had a good time. Christoph Waltz finally made a good movie and didn't need Tarantino to be the director of it. And it's a shame because the way they present this movie leads you to believe that they were going to go in a direction and tell a couple of stories. And I don't think it made enough money to warrant sequels. But this modern day filmmaking where you leave holes open to continue a franchise, just tell one good story. I'm not saying that the one story we got isn't good. It's really fun. It's just fun. I think it's PG-13, right? Yeah. It's definitely not R or anything. If it is, I'm fucking shocked. But just a good time, and it thoroughly shocked me. I really liked Alita. Good original movie. Cannot wait for Ford v Ferrari to come out in the UK. Oh, it's not out there yet. Shit. Number 11 is Triple Frontier, which is a Netflix movie. And it basically is the town, but set in South America. There's pieces of it that feel like Heat. There's pieces of it that feel like The Town. These people are performing a heist, and it's funny. You go through this heist, and pieces of the story appear to be done. And I remember pausing it and checking the time, thinking, "Wait a minute, this movie can't be anywhere near finished. What's happening?" And then it downshifts and goes in a completely different direction. Not in a completely different direction, but the heist stuff is one part of the movie, and then there's a different half of the movie. And it was shocking how much a good time I had with both. As much as pacing is a thing for me. The second half wasn't too slow for me, oddly enough. I really enjoyed that movie. It's one of those movies where it frustrates me that it's on Netflix because we'll never get a Blu-ray of that. And that's a neat one. I'd like to watch it again. All right, so I'm going to do 10 through 6, and then I'm going to figure out a way to go 5 through 1 by surprise. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe not. Okay, so this is 10 through 6. 10. Once again, Fire is one of a few documentaries that I think was on Amazon, Netflix, one of the two, Hulu. I know there's multiple ones on multiple services. I think Fire is from Netflix. Once again, I didn't know anything about the real events. So watching this documentary and just going for the ride, and this is a story about these high swanky fucking promoters that set up this ultra pricey fucking, I don't know what you call those things. What are those fucking parties that are in the middle of the desert, and you go party there for 3 or 4 nights and watch some shit like Bonnaroo and Burning Man, shit like that. Well, anyway, they tried setting one of those up on an island, and how much can I ruin? It turns out that a lot of it was a sham. And again, this movie, as somebody who didn't know what happened, the way it's told in a linear fashion, I was thoroughly captivated and wanted to know what was going to happen. It didn't seem like they were going to get enough money, or not resources. They had money. I just want to say, first of all, shame on people who are dropping $100,000 to spend a weekend in a fucking kite on the beach. There's starving children out there, and you're going to hang out with Usher. I digest. So I was just captivated, and I couldn't possibly imagine where the story was going to go, where the actual events was going to go. And holy fuck. It's shocking, the things that happened. It's shocking, the things that are real. And this is another case where I watched a documentary, and the movie had me looking into the real life events after I was done, and it just stuck with me. It's a concert series, or whatever the fuck, festival. Yeah, just festival. Thank you, Raiders. That I had no interest in whatsoever, but I was curious to know more about it. And Fire, again, the way the documentary's told is quite good. Number 9, sticking with Netflix. Dolomite Is My Name. Eddie Murphy is back. More importantly, Wesley Snipes is back. That needs to be said. Wesley Snipes, the fucking unsung hero of this movie. Good to see Eddie Murphy in an R-rated movie that isn't shit. To all my filmmaker friends, this is totally a movie you need to see. It's a great comedy about fucking no budget filmmaking, and it's Eddie Murphy in his glory. Eddie Murphy, the Eddie Murphy you know and love, and it's just a fucking great ride. Some of it was a little interesting. That I was wondering what they were doing with his character. I felt like somebody was gonna fuck him over, but it was just a straight comedy, and I didn't hear anything about it and just watched it because it was Eddie Murphy, and I said okay. Actually, Cecil was here when it came out, and I think he brought it up, and we just watched it the night it came out, and I'm glad he did, because I don't know if I would have jumped on that as quickly. Number 8 is Avengers Endgame. Fucking I liked Infinity War a little bit more, but Endgame, such a brilliant way to wrap up 23 movies, 22 movies, 21 movies. As somebody who has comic movie fatigue, this was incredible. No matter how much fatigue I have, it's hard to dispute. Watching Infinity War and Endgame back to back, these are solid films, and what a way to wrap things up. There's so much in the story that really you don't need to see everything else, but there's stuff that certainly rewards you having knowledge of everything. Tony Stark's story, he's got a complete arc in this movie. For as much as Thanos has a arc in Infinity War, I would say Tony Stark is the guy who's got the arc for Endgame, and it's gorgeous. It's incredible. All the emotions that are laid out throughout the movie are done incredibly. It's just a spectacle. There's 3 separate movies in the 3 hours that you're watching it, and the time travel stuff was fun. Didn't feel too hammy, and I had a really good time with it. So for that to be 8 for me should tell you something. Number 7 is Jojo Rabbit. Why aren't you? What is your problem? All right, number 7 is Jojo Rabbit. Speaking of movies that you really need to be prepared for, Jojo Rabbit is a movie about German kids in World War II. So as far as we know, the bad guys. And it's a comedy that's told with heart, and there's so many different moments throughout that movie that just remind you, oh yeah, this takes place during World War II. Oh yeah, this is Germany during World War II. It's very over the line with the humor. It doesn't take itself seriously. It makes a mockery of Hitler speaking with an effeminate accent, should tell you that. But there are moments in the movie where they punch you hard in the feelings, because for as much as they're making a mockery of things, they still want you to remember that these are things that happened at that point in time in that country, and it's quite effective. I can imagine people really being turned off by the idea of the movie, and I understand that. But if people manage to get away around the subject matter and can just leave it as fiction, it really is funny. It's a really good time, and there are moments where it's not funny. It's very, very emotional at parts. Number 6 is Lords of Chaos. Again, another movie that completely shocked me. For as much as I was ragging on the Motley Crue film The Dirt, here's a movie that I don't know much about this band's music, but holy shit, the story was incredible. The guitarist or the bassist, there's somebody from this band that has a YouTube channel, and it's really quite interesting seeing his perspective on things. Again, another movie that I was fascinated by elements of the story afterwards, and needed to look into it. Some of it's true, some of it's not. But you really should know that. People should know things about movies at this point, that not everything is a documentary. They take liberties dramatically in film, and movies a gut punch. And some of the things that I thought, surely this has got to be exaggerated, some of it wasn't. But a pretty gory movie too on top of that. Lords of Chaos, it doesn't hold back, and I think that may catch some people off guard. Elements of the movie, like there's gore, and it just kind of really divorces you from the feeling of whichever character you're attached to at that moment. And I don't know if that was the smartest choice, but in the end, obviously, I overlooked it, and it made my almost made my top 5. It was 6. So what we're gonna do is, oh man. Oh, right, I could do this. Number 5 is Marriage Story. The Netflix movie with Kylo Ren and Black Widow. Fucking, or as I like to call it, Kramer for this, Kramer versus Kramer for this generation. As somebody who's been through the divorce process, the fucking movie's spot on. It's horrifying just how on the nose some of the elements. I've been saying elements a lot. Take a shot every time I say elements. They nail a lot of things in regards to the divorce process, and they do a really fantastic job of getting you to be neutral about things. There was a point in the beginning where I'm like, oh, okay, so we're supposed to feel this way about this person, and that changed. There are moments where it's neutral. It's the shitty experience of divorce as it happens, and it's brutal and real. Glug? What's glug? Oh. So yeah, Marriage Story. Watch it as a cautionary tale, if anything, at the very least. Fucking, it's funny. It's funny. Some of it isn't meant to be funny, but I got a sick sense of humor, and laughing at shit is how you get through some of this stuff. All right, so let's reveal number 4 here. There it is. The Irishman, the Scorsese Netflix film. Man, a lot of Netflix stuff in the top 10. Marriage Story is on Netflix, yes. The Irishman, really great Scorsese gangster movie. It's not Goodfellas. That's what I'll say. I'll get back to you on how I feel if I think it's better than Casino, but I've only seen Irishman once, and it's great. It really is great. Could be a bit shorter. Same complaint I had for Dragged Across Concrete, which isn't too much of a complaint. To see Joe Pesci in a completely different role that we know Joe Pesci in Scorsese movies as, that was kind of exciting, and it was just so refreshing to see him not be the typical whatever you expect of Joe Pesci in those things. And of course, there's Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. What else do you need? Brilliant movie. A bit long. Set aside some time for that because I think it's 3.5 hours, maybe shorter. It might be longer. To number 3. It is Knives Out, the Rian Johnson film with the ensemble that recently they just announced a sequel is coming for that. So get fired up. Like I said for Ready or Not, like I said for Game Night, I love the movie Clue. Knives Out, it's not Clue, but it's very similar to it, and fucking, it's just so razor sharp. It's so funny. It's so entertaining. The whodunit part really didn't matter. I can imagine some people getting frustrated. Some people are not going to like it. I know that. But the whodunit aspect of the movie really didn't matter to me. I was just along for the ride, and fuck, it was a really, really fun ride. And when things did take some twists and turns, I was like a kid in somewhere that kids go to be happy. It was an experience, and I really can't wait to see it again. Which leaves me to number 2. Parasite, the most recent Best Picture winner. This film is responsible for turning me on to South Korean cinema, like a lot. Like I've watched a lot of South Korean movies because of Parasite. At least 5 or 6 since seeing this. And it's fucking great. Like, for as much as people complain about whatever that shit was trending with the dude who really didn't want Parasite to win Best Picture, even though he hadn't seen it. It's a better movie than Joker. I'm sorry, and I don't think that's that hard to say. Parasite, really, really incredible. I understand people who perhaps can't get through a movie with subtitles. I was like that until just recently, so that could be a deterrent for some folks. But it's a really, 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 really good movie. And I was warned about something that happens in the third act, and I'll just say the thing that happened wasn't what I expected. But boy, the movie takes a turn, and you really don't see it coming, and it's just a fantastic movie. Again, all of these movies, with the exception of Irishman, these are movies, Lords of Chaos. You could switch Irishman with Lords of Chaos. These are movies that caught me by surprise, and it was a welcome surprise. How awesome is it when you get to see a movie, love the hell out of it, and not expect that? I think that tinkers with my scoring, but alas, Parasite. Technically, it is my favorite film of 2019. This isn't the first time this has happened, which leads me to the last film, number one, the technical number one of my 2019 list, and that is One Cut of the Dead. Another movie that you can see on, I think Shudder. I think it's on Shudder right now. Technically, the movie was made in 2017, but we only got it in 2019. So my first ability to see it was last year, so I'm counting it as 2019. Another foreign film, another movie that you're going to need to read. Holy shit. The one thing I can say, Emily tapped out. Emily tapped out within the first half an hour, and she missed something fantastic. This is a movie where if you told me you'd turn it off after her, in the first half an hour, I can understand that. But I cannot stress enough that you need to, even if you're really shaking your head and scratching your head at what the hell's happening, you really got to power through it and watch the whole thing, because it goes in a completely different direction, and it's just brilliant. I don't think it's a spoiler if I say it's a movie about filmmaking, and there are so many different things that happen in the movie that as any of you who have tried making a movie, or anybody who has specific knowledge of filmmaking, this movie speaks to a lot of that, and a lot of it, for the same way Marriage Story is fucking hysterical about divorce, One Cut of the Dead is fucking hysterical about filmmaking and the hurdles one would probably come across, or maybe has come across, in filming something in certain environments. But One Cut of the Dead, again, another movie that I don't think has a Region 1 release. Another movie I really, really want to watch on Blu-ray and see if there's special features on it. But alas, it's a Japanese. I think it's a Japanese movie. It is available on Shudder, so go get that 7-day free trial of Shudder. Go watch Horror Noir. What was the other one? Was there another one? Horror Noir and One Cut of the Dead. Absolutely. But other than that, that has been my... thank you for watching. Anybody in the chat, if you have any... If I cruised through... 1917, I did not watch in 2019. So that's that. 1917, that's... if I'm putting it somewhere... shit. I think 1917, I would probably put before Dolomite, so call it 9th, and then Fire would get kicked out of my top 10. But 1917, I have seen, but not in 2019. So that would be number 9 if I were to do that right now. Yeah. Rarely do I have. No, I don't consider 1917, 2020. It's the movies I've seen in 2019. December 1st through. No, January 1st through December 31st. And 1917, I think we saw it the second week of January. So that is why it's not on the list. Like I said, I would have put it 9th, though. There's a Blu-ray with a second disc that has the opening scene from a behind-the-scenes GoPro camera. Outrageously out of print. Oh, that means like $100. My fiance's Norwegian, so we usually have English subtitles and everything. Yeah, and I'm deaf, so I've been putting subtitles on for lots of stuff. So it's been a lot easier to tolerate subtitles now that I have them on for just about anything I watch. Yes, Ben, I have subtitles on English movies as well. You need to stick with it. Yes, that is an understatement. If you're gonna go watch One Cut of the Dead, you gotta set the time aside and get yourself mentally prepped for the fact that you're gonna watch 90 minutes of a movie. I don't even think it's 90 minutes either. It's a short time, but I can understand people being weirded out by the first half an hour or so and tapping out. Maybe I'll try to get Emily to watch it again. But, she's busy right now doing a whole bunch of shit for that channel of hers. So not today, obviously. If you guys have interesting top 10, Endgame hasn't slipped so far down my list. Yeah, it's 8 for me. Avengers Endgame is 8 for me. There was a point where it was. Well, I mean, when it came out, I guess it was number 1. No, Lords of Chaos was number 1 for a bit. It was high. Avengers was high, but maintained. Same, everything. It bothers me more when they're off. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, with the subtitles? Yeah. Yeah, when you get used to it, it's a lot easier. You don't notice it as much if you're used to seeing it. It makes watching foreign films a lot easier because you're just used to having words in the way. Highwaymen, I have not seen. You really just have to stick to past the 37-minute mark and you'll be rewarded greatly. Yes, I haven't laughed that much since game night. Just brilliant. Yeah. I cannot recommend One Cut of the Dead enough. If it weren't for One Cut of the Dead, I'd be talking about Knives Out being the comedy of the year. But as a 1-2, those are pretty incredible. And Parasite, I really, what's funny is for as much as my bottom of the list is really, really stinky, like I've been saying this leading up to the year, that the bottom 10 for me, especially the bottom 5, I don't think I've had a year so far that any one of those movies you could have had at the very bottom of any of my previous years. But here, there was 5 movies that were fighting it out for worst. But to counter that, the movies at the top are considerably strong. Not since the year when Last Jedi came out. I think that was a strong year too. That my top 10 was pretty full. But for the most part, the really bad is there. But usually my lists feature like 50 movies where I'm just kind of shoulder shrug. I can go one way or another. Really bad movies, really great movies, and a bunch of time killers. Third actor's genius. Did you not watch Hellboy? I have not. WUHUHF? Woof? Hoof? Oh, is that woof for Hellboy? I have not seen Hellboy. I've heard horror stories. There was a point where I was gonna try to rush to get to that even 100, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, especially considering I didn't do the whole produced shebang. But Hellboy was one that I was thinking of squeezing in to get the list to a nice round 100. Where was Caligula? This list is only movies that were released in 2019, in the calendar year 2019. If I ranked all the movies that I've seen, this would be like a 500 film list. Caligula, that I think I saw that in 2020 anyway. So even if this were a full list, I don't think Caligula would be until next year. It's just okay-ish. I see. But felt like a teenager was given the script and asked what they would like to add, and so every character says fuck all the time. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that it feels unnecessarily heavy with F-bombs. Oh, come on, man. What's come on, man? I've seen 67 of 2019 so far. That's good. Part of the problem is when you watch these straight to DVD, straight to Netflix stuff, like there's, I think, what I have, 7, 8 documentaries. That helps beef up the numbers. But yeah, there's a couple that I missed and really wanted to see, and there's a couple that I really could have gone without. And I'm really, really, really slow on 2020. This is the slowest I've been going for a calendar year ever. I think I've only seen 2 2020 releases, and we're 6 weeks deep. I don't think I'm making it to 100 this year. What's the rewatch for you on Parasite? Because rewatch to me is important. High, very high. As a matter of fact, I did the commentary of I Saw the Devil. If enough people are interested, I'm happy to do a commentary on Parasite, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, 70. Yeah, see, I once it's December 31st, or excuse me, once it's January 1st, I cut it off. But yeah, so that is the list 2019. If you enjoyed this and you want me to go back to producing it, you got to let me know. Thumbs up, comments, both. Share it with people. The problems with these videos is they just don't get the views that warrant the editing time that I put into these things. Not like I edited this one, but if there's enough of a response, I'll go back to the old way for the 2021. God knows that'll be a special one just for the year. I'd love to see a commentary on Parasite. That might be enough. That might be all I need, Ben, to be honest with you. So yeah, Emily's got the equipment right now, but I have some filming to do. A bunch of produced material is coming out of this channel in the very near future. I'm thinking there's at least 3, and one of them is kind of a remastered version of an older video, but we got some stuff coming out. I always love the produced version, so I am disappointed, but I get it. Yeah, like I said, if I started to make a produced version, I don't know if I could have got it out by August. Most of the movies that people said disappointing, I enjoyed, and most of the great movies I felt they were disappointing. That's what's great about movies. That's what's great about opinions. Everybody is wrong and everybody's right at the same time. It's just figuring out what's good for you. And, venturing on the journey together. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you'd like to see more stuff, like if you want to see, just give me a thumbs up, please. Otherwise, we will see you very soon. I have been CP. You haven't. Have a 2019